Hip Hop Marvels podcast. Your friendly neighborhood plug for all things hip hop and Marvel. We got it locked from your block to the comic shop.
Okay, out there in Marvel Land, face front, this is Stan Lee speaking. You've probably never heard this before, so anything is liable to happen.
It's your boy Dub Floyd, and the place to be in, and the place to be is Dub Floyd. This is the Hip Hop Marvels podcast, your friendly neighborhood plug for all things hip hop and Marvel, where we got it locked from the block to the comic shop. That's right. Remember to listen, share, rate, and subscribe. We're available wherever you get your podcasts. Follow the Hip Hop Marvels podcast on Twitter and IG at Hip Hop Marvels, and on Facebook, Hip Hop Marvels, all one word. This is an all new INBETWEENERS episode where we showcase marvelous people doing marvelous things. And we have a very special guest with us today to discuss something new, something innovative, creatively dope, I should say. He's a North Carolina-based photographer, owner of One Click Photography, graphic designer, runway coach, Marvel fanboy, and fellow blurred, Lamont Johnson, people. What's good, bro?
Going on, man?
Hey, I can't call it. So I was put on to What You Do by a cat by the name of Anthony Green, and we had met, networking at an event about two Sundays ago. I would say two or three Sundays ago, at an event for Shame Gang. He had his Gangland concert series. I was out there, covering some media, and happened to bump into Anthony Green, and he was putting me onto his businesses and what he does and what he's about. And he said, I'm also a model. And I said, oh, okay, that's what's up. Then he proceeded to pull out his phone and show me the flyer for Return to Wakanda fashion show. I immediately looked at him. I said, what's this? Like, what is this? To be honest, I had heard about it before he showed me that, but I wasn't quite sure where it was at or what, And then when he showed me the flyer, he was like, I could put, the dude that's in charge of it, on the line right now. I said, what? I said, do that. And then that's where we had our conversation, and fast forward, here we are now. What I want to know is what's your origin story? How did you come to be this photographer? How did you end up doing what you do and what you love?
Okay. All right. Well, I guess many moons ago when I was younger, I used to model. Like everybody had little dreams of modeling and acting and all that stuff. So I started going to an acting school, modeling school, doing little stuff here and there. Fast forward, as I got older, I started working at a company, and I started teaching and training models, acting, runway, this, that, and the third. I got to a point where I wanted to step out on my own. Then around 2000, I stepped up on my own and I started doing my own events. And I was just doing fashion shows, live music events, whatever I can get my hands on. And I was producing them all by myself. I had my own group of models and all that stuff. And then, I just kept doing it for years. I've been doing fashion shows and training models for, over 10 years since 2000. I actually retired from doing fashion shows. I just got kind of bored because I had literally done every type of fashion show, from lingerie to swimwear. I just did it all. And I ended up doing a Black Business Expo. And in the expo, I did a fashion show, and it kind of re-sparked my love for doing fashion shows again, which I had missed it, but I just gave it up. So then I was like, if I'm gonna do fashion shows again, I gotta do something different. So I actually seen quite a few African fashion shows, theme shows, or whatever. And then I was like, like I said, I'm a nerd. I've been reading comic books since '92.
Right.
They're in an X-Men movie, cartoon. I love all Marvel, but I'm an X-Man. I'm completely 100% all on X. I like Avengers and all that, but I started with X, so that's my main thing. So I was actually watching the Black Panther movie, and it just kind of clicked. I was like, I should just do a fashion show and base it. It's an African fashion show, but give it more of a theme than just an African fashion show. So that's what I came up with. Welcome to Wakanda. When I came up with that theme, and we had intros. We were like, what my shows now, they're not just a fashion show, it's more production. We had an intro, we had a guy dressed up like Black Panther sitting on the stage, we had his mom up there, we had people cosplaying, we had an intro. We still had the fashion show, but then we just have other things involved in the fashion show. So of course it was a huge success. It was funny because our show was a huge success, and it was right before the pandemic really shut everything down. So the next weekend was when, like, you know, I think Roy Cooper or whatever that time was like, that's when everything shut down. It was like, we always laugh about it because if we would have had our show the next weekend, it never would have happened. So I was already gearing up. I was already gearing up for a sequel. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. And my plan was to do my fashion show right before Black Panther 2 hit. But, you know, with all that stuff they had going on, they moved it back. But my show was already set. Like, I think Black Panther 2 originally was supposed to come out the second weekend in July.
In July. Yeah, it was supposed to be coming up now. Like where Thor is at, I think that's where Black Panther was supposed to be. If I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, you're right, because I had a time perfect, because I wanted to do the weekend. I didn't want to do it on the 4th of July weekend, so I wanted to do it the weekend before. And that's why, you know, I'm pretty much doing it on the 25th now. So yeah, and it's just a mixture of what I love in comics and what I love in fashion, kind of bringing it together.
Okay, yes. Yeah, and you know, I love the innovation and how you said, you know, you had left fashion shows alone, and then after a while you came back, but you wanted to come back with a bang, and you kind of combined your love of, you know, Marvel with, you know, your love of fashion and made it one thing. And that's why I thought it was so dope to cover this, because that's basically what we have done with hiphopmarvels. You know what I'm saying? I took two things that I love and that I was involved in, you know, being a DJ, being on the mixtape circuit, working with different artists, and then my love for, you know, Marvel fandom and, you know, being a blurred and all things superheroes and stuff like that, and combining them into one niche, you know, genre. So I think that's awesome what you're doing. Tell me, you know, what was one piece or, you know, one artist or one photographer that inspired you to pursue like photography? Because I know that plays a big part in, you know, the fashion and you know, putting on fashion shows and things of that nature. So who was like one, maybe, I don't know if you have a favorite artist or photographer or, you know, someone that inspired you to actually pursue photography?
Well, you know, through the years, I've dealt with a lot of photographers, you know, working with them, just like you said, through fashion shows and stuff like that. And I never even thought about doing photography. I was just joking around one day and I just decided to play with it. But photographer I know is by the name of Rick Crank. Rick Crank is like, he's been in the game for years. I joke about him all the time, saying that he was back shooting pictures of Moses and Jesus and them back in the days. Because he's been around for a while. So, but he's always been somebody that, you know, kind of like a mentor about a, you know, I asked him stuff. So when I told him I was about to do photography, he was very supportive. And the big thing about that is a lot of time when you're doing something similar to them, they feel like it's a competition. You know, they feel like, he trying to step on my toes or he trying to come on my stage. And he was never like that. So I still go to him now. You know, I actually show him a few things that I do, and he learned a couple of little things from me. But yeah, Rick Crank was a huge part. I think if I would have got support from like him and a couple of other photographers that I knew, I probably would have been like, I don't know if I want to do it. You know, sometimes people can deter you. I say that, but knowing me, I still probably would have did it anyway. I still probably would have been like, yeah, well, I'm gonna show y'all what I'm gonna do. But for the most part, yeah, I give him a lot of props.
That's what's up. And I also noticed, like, on your Instagram, you also did, you know, we were mentioning, I see your Marvel Legends in the back. Yeah. You also did, like, you know, photography with the action figures and stuff. So what kind of got you into that?
I'm gonna have to give you my IG. I actually got a separate page that I do my tour photography on. So I gotta make sure I give you the IG, my IG of that. You know, sometimes if I ain't got models, I like collecting Marvel Legends. I used to collect X-Men and Marvel stuff back in the days when the Marvel Legends came out. I just started buying them. So every now and then, it's kind of like my hobby. Like my hobby is pretty much coming in here, setting the lights up, setting that stuff. I actually done bought a whole lot recently and I haven't even shot with them yet. I think I get in trouble sometimes. Gotta spend so much money on them. But that's just everybody gotta have that hobby. And that's kind of like my hobby. And I enjoy it. I think I really do some dope stuff. And tour photography is like a big, I like to hit all aspects of photography, not just one thing or another thing. But it's a major thing. It's a major community, just like comic books and everything else.
Right. You're absolutely right. Have you ever thought about making scenery and stuff like that, or have you done that before? Like, background scenery and stuff like that.
Yeah, a little bit. Most of the time, I try to buy stuff. Like some of the stuff that I see other people doing is amazing. Like, I try to look at it and come up with a lot of stuff you can buy. Sometimes I take the cheap right out. I might buy some bricks or something like that. But for the most part, with my stuff, I like to use my lighting for the most part. That's kind of like, I guess, my thing with my toy photography. I like to try to, incorporate my photography skills in the photography. So it's not just like regular pictures.
Right. Okay. So, our brief combo on the phone, you expressed that you were blurred and you have a love for Marvel. And, so like, what was that? Well, I know you explained that the X-Men is like your go-to, right? So what was that, like, that first comic or character that made you say, Marvel, I could rock with this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what was that?
I'm 44, so I've been around for a lot of different stuff. But I remember Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends was like my first Marvel experience. And listening to Stan Lee, the great Stan Lee, do the intros and the narratives, all that stuff. And I just fell in love with it. And it wasn't until 92 that I actually, I had a friend in my class, and he had a comic book. It was an X-Men comic book. Like, what's that? And I just started looking over and reading it. And I was hooked. Right there. He used to bring books every week, and I used to read them. I wasn't buying nothing. I was just reading all his books. But then I started collecting my own. I probably got like 2,000 stacked up in the room now. And that was like and all of them was X-Men related. Back then they had everything was X-Men, X-Force, X-Factor, Excalibur, Cable's one-shots. Everybody had a lot of stuff, and I used to, do all of that. I guess my favorite X-Men is Gambit. Gambit is like my guy. That is like my number. That has always been my number one dude. Like, you can't tell me nothing about nobody when it comes to that Remy LeBeau. That's my dude right there.
That is a go-to. I would say him and Wolverine. That's like the two go-tos right there. Like, it's crazy because I have a lot of peers who like look up to X-Men like you do. I'm more of an Avengers guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm an Avengers stan, but I do respect X-Men. Like, especially the whole storyline. A lot of people don't realize how civil rights play into the whole ideology of X-Men. So like,
we are X-Men. Like we are X-Men.
Yeah,
like
we are X-Men. Yeah.
Malcolm X and Martin Luther King is hands down Magneto and Professor Xavier. Like, I love when people try to argue, and I've actually seen Stan Lee talk about that before. So it kills me when people try to say they're similar, but that's a whole nother discussion. But it's like, it's no way you can look at to know Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and know Professor Xavier and Magneto and what they were fighting for, which was civil rights. What basically, what they do for us as Black people, fighting for. And that's why I think a lot of people have a different connection with the X-Men. Because it's funny, because when the X-Men, I would read a lot of X-Men, I didn't like the Avengers a lot, because I'm like, damn, the Avengers, they got almost the same kind of stuff, but it's cool for them to have it. But the X-Men, they getting, they getting beat down.
Right.
Spider-Man can swing around and they can do all that stuff. So that's why I guess I had a hatred for the Avengers, but it took me a while to start liking the Avengers, just because of how I've seen X-Men get treated versus, that's why I used to hate Wanda. I used to hate Wanda so much. I just call her a race traitor, because she used to hang out with the Avengers. She was a mutant before they changed stuff or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a wild way of looking at it, though. I never looked at it that way, but yeah, that's a definitely a wild way of looking at it. I think more so, like, for me, the Avengers, I think it was more so, and not even necessarily like Captain America. It was more so like Iron Man. That's like my favorite, character, just due to the fact that he had flaws and he was an actual man. And it took suit to, you know what I'm saying? It was more relatable. It took the suit to, you know, like, what would I do if I didn't have powers, me and my flawed self? Like, if I could build you know, if I had enough know-how and enough smarts to build a suit and can go out here and fight crime, you know what I'm saying? So I think that was it for me. And the fact that he, you know, was part of the Avengers, that's what gravitated me towards that. It's kind of like someone choosing a favorite basketball player, and wherever he goes, that's what team they follow, you know, they rock with. It's sort of like that. So, like, because trust me, if Iron Man was with the X-Men, I'll be an X-Men fan too, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, you know, it's just like that. But yeah, so how has blurred culture influenced your work? You know, I know you embrace, you know, a lot of Marvel. I think, you know, I mean, even outside of tour photography, I do a lot of cosplay shoots. A lot of the shoots I do are creative. I really try to kind of be different. I mean, I shoot all the regular stuff that everybody has, but if you really follow my page and you really follow my work, people will see I do a lot of stuff that everybody's not doing, especially not black photographers. A lot of black photographers just kind of keep it in a box, or it's sexy, and that's their box, and it sells, and I get it, you know, because I do it as well, so I'm definitely not judging. But I also like to keep the art aspect in it. I can draw as well, so I used to try to draw my own little comic books and, you know, do that kind of stuff too. So I've always been very creative. So everything that I do, I just can't do it normal. It's just not in me to do it normal. And I think that, you know, being a black nerd, you have to deal with that, and you have to accept yourself and realize you're different. Like, I remember coming up, you know, all my homeboys, they didn't read comic books, they didn't, you know, do none of that stuff. They was listening to rap or in the streets or whatever. We still was cool, but they, you know, I'm the nerd, you know, it's easier to be a nerd now than it was back in the days. Like, back in the days. Yeah, I always say, you know, I was a nerd back when it wasn't cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got shunned, you know what I'm saying? And, like, especially in the hood, like, you know, you supposed to be out running the streets. You laid up in the house reading comics or watching cartoons or whatever the case may be. And they're like, man, you know, looking at you different, whatever. But, you know, now it's like you said, it's cool to be a geek. It's cool to be a nerd or blurred. You know what I mean? So, it's more of a, you know, there's a lot of safe spaces out here to, especially, you know, for creators to express themselves. Creators who are quote unquote nerds, blurreds, or whatever, you know, whatever you call it. But yeah, you're 100% right about you know, the past, because it wasn't easy. It definitely wasn't easy, you know. So.
I was never ashamed. I used to tell my boys, look, I don't care what y'all do. This is what I like to do. So that's one thing I definitely could say. I was never I was never timid about it. I might have been when I first started, but after a while I was like, I don't care if y'all like this or not. I actually had a couple of relationships in, because I used to buy comic books. You know, that's another thing a lot of women might not understand. And I remember I had an ex, she was like, you be spending your money on this mess? And I was like, mess? Mess? So yeah, that didn't work. But, you know, like I said, being a nerd is not as easy as people think it is.
Right, it's not. It's definitely not. You know, it definitely comes with a lot of criticism. It comes with a lot of misunderstanding. Like, people don't know what, like, what, huh? You spending money on that? What for? What? It's just gonna sit up on the shelf. So what? Let me do this.
Yeah, it's my money.
You know, let me do this. You know, so I get it. So I know you told us a little bit about the Wakanda fashion show. I'm gonna call it a series because this is the second one. I don't know if it's safe to assume you know. Oh, you said so. There it is. You said it's a trilogy.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got the third one coming. You know what I'm saying? You hit us with a little exclusive. But so tell us a little bit about it. You know, I know you told us a little bit about how it formed. You know, go into detail about, you know, how it formed, This year's Return to Wakanda fashion show, who are some of the fashion houses there, that are showcasing their work. Some of the vendors, models, whatever you can put out there as far as to help people see what you're doing.
With this show, I definitely made it bigger than the first show. The first show, I didn't have as many designers. I probably had I don't even know how. I didn't have a lot. I had a good amount of models, but everything about this show is double from what I did the previous show. I have like 9 designers, 9 fashion designers from J. Noel. She's out of Raleigh, North Carolina. I think Havelock, Superior Courage. She's a plus size boutique. I have Motherland Authentic. I have Beyond Yami. I think it's I say her name wrong like every freaking time. If she watching this, she probably gonna kill me if I say it wrong again. I just have like a lot of, and I have a lot of. These are actual a lot. Well, not all of them, but majority of them are actually from Africa. A lot of my designers are born and raised in Africa, from Kenya to all over the place. And that was very important to me to have have it authentic, even though it's based on a fictional part of Africa. I still wanted to include that. I have dancers, African dancers. We got performers. We have like 21 vendors. Like as soon as you come in, you'll see the vendors. I call it the Wakanda marketplace. This is where the vendors will be at. I will start naming them, but I hate naming stuff because my mind, if I ain't got me a script, I always feel like I left somebody out, and I feel like after the fact. But we have so much in this show. I actually looked at my stuff today, and I was just like, damn, I put a lot in this show. But it's good because we worked hard. The models work. This is one of the best group of models I've had. I've had a lot of great group of models, but these models, and I train the models, so it's not like I have a roommate coaching and stuff. They have to deal with me. And anybody who know me, like I don't really play when it comes to work. We'll joke, we have a good time. Everybody tell you I can be a fun guy, but when it comes to working, I don't play, and they know that. And these models are gonna put on an amazing show. I got kids, plus size men, women. We got some of everything in this show. So I'm very proud of the show. Myself and even the audience, even the last show, when the people come to see the show, they dress up. So a lot of the people that come in, they already tell me they buying outfits, and it's almost like the Wakanda. Yeah, it's almost like the Wakanda premieres. Back when the first Wakanda movie came out. Because even last show, I was looking at people, I'm just like, dang, people really.
Yeah, they really stepped out. Yeah, they really stepped out there.
Yeah, so that was like beyond dope, especially for the first one, being like nothing like that had been done before. And it was, I never thought it wouldn't be a success, because I don't go in thinking something like that, but the response was amazing. Just like the response for this one has been amazing as well. It's always hard when you're doing a sequel, because people be like, it's not as better. Sequels is never better than the original. So,
exactly.
Yeah, so I gotta pull off a Bad Boys 2 or some of those sequels that's better than the original. And I think we definitely have, and gearing up for the funny thing about the first one is I based a little bit off of the Wakanda, the first Black Panther movie. And this, I don't really have anything based off of it. So I get to create my own situation of who's going to take over Wakanda. I have somebody that's going to be Shuri, and, it's going to be a whole little thing. Now, when the movie come out, they may do something completely different, but at least I had a chance to do mine first. I don't even know if Shuri is going to do Black Panther in the movie coming out. Nobody knows nothing. I actually don't think she will be. I don't know what they're going to do, but I don't see the character that plays Shuri in the Black Panther movies being Black Panther as it moves on. I know she was Black Panther in the comic books for a couple of issues. A lot of people don't ever want to bring that up. They be like, she was Black Panther in the comics. She was on the Black Panther for like issues. Like, chill out, Right, but for this, this show was kind of going off of that, with the realms of, deciding who's going to be Black Panther and the show is going to take place as if right after T'Challa's passing, and I got some stuff that's going to be dedicated to Chadwick.
Oh wow!
Boseman.
So you got, oh man, you got the whole, yeah, man, you got it all laid out. That's dope. That's
yeah, man. Yeah, it's funny because I've been working hard with these ideas, and actually this week, other stuff been popping in my head. I got 2 or 3 days before the show, and I'm still trying to add new stuff. So sometimes I got to make myself chill. I just be like, bro, you ain't got time.
That's how it is. As a creative, that's how it is. You're always like thinking of something. You be in your sleep and like, oh man, I gotta do this, and you're always thinking of something new. Yeah. So
day up, like do this.
All right, so before we get out of here, and you actually kind of segued it really well, because I was going to ask you, what are your, if any, what are your expectations for the next Black Panther movie? We know there's been like a lot of discrepancies, upon shooting, and different things going on. And as the news came out, and like I said, we covered this on the podcast like numerous times, like not knowing what's to come, we thought it was just going to be, crazy. And so what do you think? What are your expectations, if any? Especially being that Chadwick Boseman, has passed and he's not in the film. So,
I personally, I think Chadwick did an amazing job as T'Challa, but I actually thought that they should have recasted him just to keep the story going. And I say that, and I understand people didn't want him to be recasted, but if you look at Spider-Man, who's been casted, I don't know how many times, not even just the movies, or Batman, or didn't nobody want to see another Joker after Heath Ledger. But look at the movie Joker. He did a great job. We're not going to talk about Jared Leto's Joker. We're going to skip over that. But there's a lot. There's a lot of, look how many, there's been multiple Supermen after Christopher Reeves passed. I think Brandon Ross was after that, and then later on Henry Cavill. But there can be more than one character playing T'Challa. I think with our community, we have never experienced a passing of a character like this, so automatically we didn't want him to be replaced. I can't think of a movie where a major black character in real life. Like, if somebody can get, no one, please tell me, but I really...
Right, yeah, I can't think of one to this caliber that has passed away that had to be replaced, and my thing is, now that, Marvel Studios is working with the whole multiverse thing, I mean, it's perfect to recast them now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you could go so many routes with like recasting and stuff like that. Because they opened the floodgates with that. Because if you remember, like with all the X-Men movies and before properties were bought back and stuff like that, things were all over the place. So now that Disney created this hub and they have like access to like a lot of things that they had lost in the past, they have access to them now. It's more so, I guess, I don't know. It's more so they have more control. And now that they put this whole multiverse thing out there, it's like now that, they can do whatever. You know what I'm saying? And make up for it though. It's no loopholes now because it's the multiverse.
They can bring anybody back without, making an excuse to bringing anybody back. They can bring Black Widow back at any given time because of the multiverse, and nobody really can say, what can you say? Like literally, even the way they brought Gamora back, which I'm assuming Gamora is back, even though she's not in no trailer yet. I know she's back, but they kind of cheated the way they brought Gamora back. So like, and I kind of like that. I know people want to see people actually die, and they be like, oh, well, it ain't no real stakes. But if you're a comic book reader, nobody stays dead. Nobody
stays dead. Like, yeah, that's the unwritten rule. Like everybody knows.
You can't even go through, use that excuse. So I'm hoping that either maybe they use the multiverse and kind of bring in a new. It's funny because if you go by the Black Panther world, nobody else can be Black Panther. They're not going to make M'Baku Black Panther. They're not. they could easily say that Killmonger wasn't dead. They could play that, but I don't see that. Like, and I don't see Shuri. I see her trying it, but I don't see it lasting. I think they're gonna have to introduce either a new character, some long lost somebody or something, and that's never happened in the comic book, so they're gonna have to make that up, as far as I know. So I think that's the most exciting thing about this. And I guess even when we first see a trailer, I don't know if you saw the images of Shuri and Okoye that was not Okoye. I think it was Okoye that was released. I saw it on some kind of promotional thing or whatever, and I don't know. And then I'm hearing that Namor is supposed to be the villain, but I haven't seen a confirmation yet.
Yeah, I've heard Namor's supposed to be the villain, and then I'm excited for because they're gonna debut Riri Williams, Ironheart, in this too. So I'm excited for that too, because like I said, it's another. Like I'm like Wale, man. I'm rooting for everybody that's black. You know what I mean? So like I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm with it.
I don't know that much about her, but I'm interested in seeing her. I'm gonna tell you who I want, and that's who I want, and they won't do it. There's rumors about it years ago that Lawrence Fishburne was gonna do something with it, and that's Moon Girl. Like, I don't know, Moon Girl.
Yeah.
I don't. That is money in the bank. You got the smartest character in Marvel Comics. A lot of people be mad about that, but you still got the smartest character. She's a little black girl. The inspiration she would put on black kids and black girls. Like, I don't know what Marvel got that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
right, that's why I'm excited for Riri Williams as well, because she's following the footsteps of Tony Stark. You know what I'm saying? She's like, if you follow her story, she went to MIT and she built an Iron Man suit from scratch, and got on Tony Stark's radar. And he's like, wait a minute, hold up. Like, who is this kid? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Young black girl from MIT.
Yeah.
So
I'm thinking I wonder if they're gonna make her Wakanda, being the fact that she's debuting in this. But with Marvel, you just don't know what they're gonna do. But I'm here for everything they do.
Yeah, I'm definitely here for it. But man, so it's been dope chopping it up with you, man. You're welcome back on the show to talk, more X-Men. We gotta bring you back, especially when we deep dive on X-Men, man, because I know you got some takes on X-Men. So we definitely got to get you back. Go ahead and put your any social media, anything you want to plug out there. Let them know. Let the people know when the return to Wakanda fashion show is, what time, where, and just take this time to let them know about you and everything you got going on.
All right, so the Return of Wakanda fashion show is this Saturday, the 25th, at the Raleigh Convention Center. The doors open at 1, from 1 to 3. You can shop with the vendors. The show starts at 3. My shows start on time, so you want to get there early, you want to get a seat. We will start at 3. It probably end maybe 5 or 6. We have, like I said, we have a lot going on for there. If you want to follow me, my Facebook is Lamont Johnson. My Instagram is, you spell the word out, one click photography shoots, and my toy photography page is actually one click toy photography. I think that's what it is. I can't even remember what it is right now. But those are both. As long as you follow my main IG, I post stuff from that page. You can easily follow it. But that's one click photography shoots. You got any. I do all photography, creative, regular, sexy, boudoir, whatever it is you want, I do it. Like I said, but I tell everybody, look over my work. If you like my work, inbox me. We can book, and work it out.
That's what's up. So yeah, it was dope chopping it up with you. We definitely gonna stay in touch and connect. Like I said, when I first heard about this fashion show, I was like, man, I had to, cover this. It's only right. You know what I mean? It's only right. So, yeah, man, I appreciate your time, and we'll be definitely looking forward to this fashion show, man.
You gotta make sure you come to the show.
Yeah, most definitely.
Oh, yeah,
I appreciate it. You too. Peace.